Hi everyone, good morning to whoever has joined for this session. So we are heading with our next chapter, which is by Vizag on Scrum best practices in the teams by Prashant Sahu. He works as a Scrum Master at PDI Software. Just before we start off our session, let me quickly thank our founding sponsor, Innovation Roots, which is a leading consulting and training service providers, helping organizations to achieve business agility and beyond. It is one of the leaders and pioneers of niche publishing services and is well known for content collaboration with global thought leaders, authors, and creators. For more information, you may refer to innovationroots.com. I would like to thank our sponsor, Gile. Gile is a product offering from Tata Consultancy Service Limited. It is a purely cloud-based enterprise agile planning tool along with DevOps capabilities. Enterprises can use Gile to adopt agile practices or scale across multiple Scrum and Kanban teams using enterprise scaling frameworks such as SAFe, Disciplined Agile, LESS, and more. You can try out Gile for free up to 20 users for 30 days by signing up at gile.io, or you may reach out to us for any inquiries or exclusive product demos. Check out Gile page on Agile Network India website for more information, and the link is posted on the chat box as well. Quick do's and don'ts for all our participants. Request you all to join the event 5 minutes before the start time. Use high quality speakers or headphones for better sound quality. Request you all to keep your microphones muted and videos disabled, as this may cause disturbance and bandwidth issues. Questions will be taken via chat box. Please enter your questions in the chat box. At the end of the session, the facilitator or moderator will help and read out few questions to the speaker as per the time availability. I highly recommend you all to fill in the feedback form after the event to help us understand more about the event management. We appreciate your cooperation. So with no further delay, let me call upon Prashant Saho on video cam and microphone. Over to you, Prashant. Looking forward for your session.
Thanks, Navina. Thank you so much. Okay, and thanks to the entire Agile Network India for hosting me. So today we are going to discuss about the Scrum best practices in the team. So when we talk about the Scrum best practices in the team, the very first thing what we actually need to understand here is what exactly is this Scrum? Like first we should understand what is Scrum, and once we know what exactly is a Scrum, then we can try to understand that how we can ensure that this Scrum would be used in a better way so that the teams would be very effective in delivering whatever they are trying to commit to. So the first thing what I want to bring it right now here is this concept of entirely breaking down this development of a large application into smaller chunks. Okay, so for example, if I would just try to take, this is the large application, for example. Okay, so breaking it into smaller chunks. So this work has really began in 1990s only. This is not a new concept. Over the years, the ideas were evolved with different approaches, beginning just to gain the traction. So with the release of one important thing here, that is the Agile Manifesto. Okay, so with the release of the Agile Manifesto in the year 2001, so these methodologies, then it really got upheld with all those core values like 12 agile principles which were grouped under the agile umbrella, right? So then the traction came into the picture. People got to know what is agile, what is present inside it. So why I'm talking about agile is, without knowing agile, there is no point in knowing what is Scrum is all about. The reason is, if I would try to skip to my whiteboard, and I'll try to show you that what exactly I'm trying to convey here. For example, if you just take an agile umbrella, okay, so this is the agile umbrella, let us assume. Now inside this agile umbrella, okay, so what we have here is lots of frameworks are present inside it. Okay, so if we can say XP or extreme programming, we have Kanban present here, we have FDD, okay, and then along with that we also have a Scrum. So today our focus would be on one of the framework called as Scrum. So what we are trying to say is, this is been extracted from Agile. Okay, Agile is a mindset, if I would say, under which we are talking today about the Scrum part. So Scrum is one of the framework of this entire Agile umbrella. Along with Scrum, there are also other frameworks like XP, FDD, Kanban and all, but our focus would be Scrum. So how to ensure that this scrum would be implemented in our teams in the best way, so that each and every one of us would actually get an effective result out of it. So this is something which we are going to discuss today in detail. So before I explain you how we can go ahead and try to implement the best practices, let us go with some important concepts over here, like what is a scrum. So generally, when we want to implement the scrum in the best way, what is scrum first of all? That is one question which we need to question ourselves before we go and try to implement it in the best way for our team. So now the question here is scrum. So when we talk about here scrum, right? So scrum is more of like a, if I would say, it is a development framework. Okay. So when I say scrum, so scrum is all about your development framework, if I would say. So here in the development framework, we have something called as, again, empirical process control, wherein self-organizing and cross-functional teams would be there to deliver that potentially shippable product which we are trying to commit to. So basically, when I talk about scrum, I want to put up certain keywords which I want to discuss in detail with you, so that you can try to understand what I'm trying to convey over here. So one very first keyword here is the development framework. The second keyword which I want to bring here is self-organizing, okay, and cross-functional. Okay, self-organizing and cross-functional is another keyword. And then if I would say a potentially shippable product, if I would say. So the scrum is nothing but, what I'm trying to say here is, this is a development framework where we will be having a self-organized and cross-functional teams. Like self-organized, if I would say, team knows very well that what they need to do at what instant. So we don't need to take a command and control approach over here. So they know what they need to do at what instant. And cross functional is something like everybody is getting to know what they are trying to do, instead of only one person trying to do that particular thing. If I know something related to, for example, anything, let me maybe Java, just for an assumption, then I would be sharing some part of knowledge related to my team. Okay, so here what I'm trying to say in this case is, development framework, it's a self-organized and cross-functional team. So they are trying to go ahead and try to deliver something called as a potentially shippable product. So this is a basically, simply, if I would say, scrum. I don't want to go and give a standard definition saying that you always need to follow this. You need to follow certain keywords when you understand what is a scrum. So it is a sort of a development framework where we will be having a self-organized and cross-functional teams in order to deliver that potentially shippable product. So this is the important key terminologies which you need to understand what exactly is Scrum all about. Okay, so this is a very important point which I want to highlight it over to you. So now I want to bring one more important aspect here. So let me just try to erase this off. Yeah. So now what am I going to discuss is, as we discussed right now, what is Scrum? So many people get confused here. So the point here is, they say that Scrum is generally a methodology. Okay, in my organization where I'm working, right? So there, when I ask Scrum, right, when we generally talk with the team and when we have some interaction with the team, right, just to know like how much are they aware about Agile and Scrum. Anyhow, it is our responsibility to coach and mentor them and ensure that they use the best practices. But still, just to get an idea, in one of my conversation with my team, I just asked, like, do you have any idea related to Scrum? The very first thing what it was said is, the Scrum is actually a methodology. So this was being expressed by my team members to me. Then I say, is Scrum a methodology? Generally, if I ask you this question, if is Scrum a methodology, then I would say Scrum is not a methodology. No, it is not a methodology. Instead, I would say Scrum is actually a framework. Okay, Scrum is generally a framework. It is not any methodology being present here. Okay, so I gave this idea to the team saying that the whatever conversation which I had just now, the agile umbrella part, under which we have a lot of frameworks like XP, Kanban, FDD, and along with that we also have Scrum. So Scrum is a framework, but it is not a methodology. This is the very important point which you generally need to understand here. Okay, it's more of like a framework because it's not prescriptive in the sense. Okay, it doesn't provide any set of repeatable steps that can be simply followed just to achieve success. So what is the framework then? When we say Scrum is a framework, then we need to think what is the framework then over here. A framework is sort of like a foundation, if I would say. Okay, so let me just try to put it up over here. It is sort of like a foundation, so on which you can actually try to build certain things. So the Scrum framework is generally built on agile values. Okay, so it is generally built on agile values, and on top of this you have your Scrum values. Okay, so you're getting what I'm trying to say here. So what I'm trying to convey here is the most important point here. A framework is sort of like a foundation, which I said, which where you can build the things. So the Scrum framework is actually built on your agile values and principles, and then on top of this they have another foundation layer which we call it as Scrum values. Now as long as you build on top of this foundation which is present here, right, you have the room to decide what you want to implement, because you're sticking to whatever is present here. So you can go and try to build whatever you want to do it. So let me say you can decide, like for example, if I want to build my house on top of this, you can just try to design how your house want to be. You can just customize it. You have various options to customize it, as long as you are sticking to the core things, that is agile values and the Scrum values. This is a very, very important point which I want to highlight it to you, because this is the very first misconception which many of the team members or many of the people who are new to this Scrum, right, they have this misconception, believing that Scrum is a methodology. Instead, I would say Scrum is a framework. Framework is where you get a foundation, where agile values would be one of the important foundation. On top of that you will be having your Scrum values, and then you can go ahead and try to design the product in whatever way you want to do, until and unless you stick to all your Scrum and agile values. This is the very, very important point which you first need to understand when you want to go ahead and try to develop a product or create any product using the Scrum framework. Okay, so I hope this gives you a very good understanding related to what is Scrum right now. So at least you just got an idea. Okay, this is Scrum. It's a framework, right? And where we have a self-organized and cross-functional teams who know what to do at what instant, and at the same time all of them will be sharing the knowledge equally with all the team members. That's what we call cross-functional, in order to ensure that we deliver a potentially shippable product. So simple, that's it. It's simple theoretically, I do understand, but yeah, once we come practically, I will also give you some scenarios where I have faced. I'll be explaining you the best practices. In that best practices, I will be giving you an idea, like why did that best practice come out, challenge, and how did we overcome the challenge with you implementing this best practices. But before that, this is the right approach for you to know what exactly is a Scrum. So now when I talk about the Scrum values here, right, what are those Scrum values which are present here? This is also one of the important thing which we need to consider. So when we talk about the Scrum values over here, now what are those Scrum values? Let me try to highlight it. I'll just give an overview. We are not going to go or dig in deeper related to all these values and all. Just to give you a small awareness, like what is values and what are the things which are present here. So let me say you the first one here is commitment. Okay, we'll cover step by step the Scrum values. Now when we talk about commitment here, commitment means generally how the Scrum, in the Scrum values, commitment plays a very vital role here. This is something which we need to first try to understand. Commitment here means like people personally they commit to achieving certain goals of the Scrum team. Okay, so commitment, let me say when I go ahead and try to commit a particular user story in that respective sprint, so you have given a commitment. For example, when as a Scrum team, we have given a commitment that we are going to come up with one of the potentially shippable product, which can be used for all the customers as well as for the clients. So that is a sort of a commitment, which is one of the core value of the Scrum, where people personally, they commit to achieve the goals of the Scrum team. So that is how the commitment would actually play a vital role as a Scrum value, which is one of the Scrum value, if I would say the commitment part. The second one, if I would say, is the courage. Team should have a courage. Yes, it is very, very important. See, Scrum team members, they should have the courage to do the right thing and work on tough problems. So if there is any such scenario where if something unfortunate or unincidental like uncertainty comes into the picture, for example, then you should have the courage to take it up. You should not just say that, okay, like I'm not responsible for it, or I'm not going to do that. So as a team, we should have a courage. We should go ahead and we should try to ensure that whatever we are trying to deliver, we are trying to do it in the best way, and we should also have the courage to take any uncertainties if it comes in between. So this is how you should have the courage as a team in order to ensure that we are trying to deliver it everything appropriately. This is also one of the core value of the Scrum, which we call it as the courage. Okay, and then we're moving on to the next one. Here is the focus. Focus is also another important aspect of this Scrum. So focus here is everyone focuses actually on the work of the sprint and the goals of the Scrum team. So when we go for the sprint planning, right, we will be setting up a sprint goal. So our focus should be towards the sprint goal, so that we would go ahead and try to ensure that whatever is required for us to deliver that respective sprint goal, we will be going ahead and trying to work on it. So that's how our focus would be aligned. That's how we will be focusing on our sprint goal on every sprint. So that is where the focus also plays a very vital role inside the Scrum values. And apart from focus, we also have one more important thing, that is respect. So all the team members should have a mutual respect within ourselves, like, because this is something like we should be, like, if I would say, we are capable independent people, and at the same time we should mutually respect whatever ideas we have or whatever thoughts we are trying to bring in, any opinions, every one of us should mutually respect. One of the important thing in the respect is when we go for an estimation, when we estimate a particular user story. Okay, so we may not see every time the estimates would be the same, because every team member will have a particular opinion when they estimate a particular user story, right? When we go and try to estimate, we see that some team members go with some value and other team members would go with another value. So there, let me say, in that case, we have to come with one consensus, one understanding, for example. So then we should all have a mutual respect among ourselves, saying that we should again listen and see that whether we would come to one common understanding, that what should be the common story points which we would need to go with that particular user story. Just for an example, I just brought in this point just to make you a little bit aware, like how respect would actually play a very vital role as one of the Scrum values in the team. Okay, so this is also important point. The team should mutually have respect among themselves, and at the same time, so there should be a coordination and consensus among ourselves whenever we try to come up with a particular opinion. So the respect also plays a very vital role over here. And the last Scrum value which I want to bring it over here is openness. Okay, openness here is the Scrum team and its stakeholders agree to be open about all the work. Okay, so whatever openness which is being present here, right, like they should be, we should be open. Let me say, if there are certain scenarios like where certain functionalities wouldn't be working, then yes, we should be really open and we should have the courage to say that. So we just can't accept that work, and at the sprint level we got to know that already you know that this is not going to happen, and still we take it and try to put it up, and if we are not going to give a fruitful result, then it's entirely a time waste. So we should also have the courage as well as openness to go ahead, try to talk and ensure that whatever is present related to the work, you will be open so that you can say what exactly it is. So this is all the important Scrum values which you need to know in order to ensure that everything would be going in a successful way. Okay, what is commitment? Courage, focus, respect, and openness. These are the very, very important aspects which we need to consider in order to make sure that we use the best practices in our team related to Scrum. Without these values, whatsoever practices you implement it, right, it may not give you a fruitful result, because these values are the core values which needs to be understood by the team. One is the commitment. We should be committing whatever we are trying to commit, right? We should be properly committing to it. We should have a courage to talk and say if there are any issues or any uncertainties, and at the same time, if any challenges or uncertainty do comes up, we should be in a position to ensure that we have the courage to take it up. Focus should always be there in order to ensure that we are delivering a quality items within a particular sprint, and the sprint goal also like whatever sprint goal we are trying to take it up, right, for that particular sprint, even the focus should be towards that sprint goal, so that everything would go in a right direction. There should always be a mutual respect within the team members, so that always we will be having a proper consensus. Okay, and then ultimately, if I would say, the openness is also very important aspect, if I would say, because teams should be very open, and if there are any challenges or any uncertainties at any point of time, at least they would go ahead and try to talk related to it. So with this note, at least by this time, I hope you would have got an idea like what is a scrum, what are its core values, and what like how it is a framework and it falls under the agile. Simple. So with this note, as you have got a proper idea related to it, now I can go and take you to the presentation and actually make you understand like what is present inside the scrum and what are the challenges in my organization, what we have faced as a scrum master, what I have faced and how did I overcome it, what are some of the best practices which we have implemented. All these things I will be trying to show you, so that you will also be using it whenever if it is required for you, or you may get some idea like what it is, or maybe sometimes even we may also do some mistakes. It's very common, right? So let me say, if you can suggest, okay, we will go in a different approach and we can try to do it, even that's also welcome. But yeah, I'll go and try to share so that it will be very, very helpful to you. Okay, so let's go back again to the presentation, as I've already given you an idea what exactly is a scrum. So this part is also we have completed over there, like what is a scrum. As I have clearly mentioned, scrum is actually a framework but not a methodology. We discussed about the scrum values, right? The important values which I've tried to highlight it, like commitment, courage, focus, openness, respect. So all these things should be there in order to ensure that we have a proper scrum values. Okay, so now moving on to the next very, very important thing is the scrum process. Now, what is a scrum process? It's very simple. Okay, it's very simple in explanation. Frankly speaking, I hope most of the people who are scrum masters are also would get to know about it when I try to say it's very simple to explain. In reality, when you sit and when you work with your team, because every team is different, so you may not have the same team with which I'm working with. You may have a different set of a team, different way of working and all. So explaining theoretically is really good and it's very simple, but implementing it practically is something which is a very challenging task, because we have to stick to all the principles, all the values which have been mentioned in our Scrum guide in order to ensure that the team would get benefit out of it. So I'll be explaining right now all the Scrum processes, like ceremonies and meetings, whatever we have inside it, like the sprint planning, and then we have a daily stand-up, sprint review, sprint retrospective. Now, when I say this, just don't think that everywhere it will be there. What is the difference here? Like we see everywhere, like everyone will be explaining what is sprint planning and all these things. But the unique thing what I'm gonna put here is I will try to help you out in such a way that how did we implement the best practices for each and every ceremony or a meeting what we have done. So I will be explaining in such a way where you will be able to understand. Okay, like what are some of the best practices and challenges which we have faced in a particular ceremony and event. So let's start with our sprint planning. Okay, so I'll go ahead and try to again be using my whiteboard, and I'll be trying to explain to you first like what generally is a sprint planning, because people who are not aware, at least you'll be getting a small idea, and people who know about it, that would be fine. And then later in that I'll be explaining you some of the challenges and best practices which we have implemented. So let me start with something called as a sprint planning, which is one of the first ceremony. Okay, so let me go ahead with the sprint planning part. So now when we talk about the sprint planning over here, okay, so now what is this sprint planning? Before we talk about the sprint planning here, right, we first need to understand. See, unless commitment is made, okay, unless the commitment is made, there are only promises and hopes, but there are no plans. Okay, again I'm trying to say, remember this point, this is very, very important. If I would say, unless commitment is made, there are only promises and hopes but no plans. So with this note, I want to ensure that the sprint planning, why it becomes a very vital role. See, in the sprint planning, before I explain you sprint planning and then your all the ceremonies and events, you should know what is a scrum team generally. Who is a scrum team? Now when we talk about scrum team, or when you hear about the scrum team comprises of what? First, we need to know this. So Scrum team comprises of your product owner, your Scrum master, and your development team. Okay, so whenever you hear a team call, like term call as a Scrum team over here, then it comprises of three: product owner, your Scrum master, and then your development team. So this is what we call it as a Scrum team. Scrum team comprises of three components over here, that is your product owner, your Scrum master, and as well as your development team. So this is your Scrum team. Okay, so now in the sprint planning, who is being involved in the sprint planning and what are we going to do in the sprint planning? This is the very first thing which we first need to identify here. So in this sprint planning, I just want to ensure here that in the sprint planning, the main purpose is to bring all the Scrum team together and then come up with a common goal here. Okay, we will all be coming up with a common goal to achieve that in the sprint. So Scrum team, we always, like when I say Scrum team again, what is Scrum team? Product owner, your Scrum master, and your development team. So the Scrum team, it collaborates to understand like what needs to be done in that sprint. So this is the very important thing which we need to understand. So input, what is the input to this meeting? Your product backlog. The input to this meeting would be your product backlog. Now, when I talk about the product backlog, right? See, backlog is a word which might confuse actually, but simply it is nothing but the list of product features. Your backlog is nothing but simply it is a list of product features, but there is nothing present inside it. Okay, so that is the input here is the product backlog. Your product backlog will play a vital role here. Team who is involved? Scrum team. Your Scrum team comprises of your product owner, your Scrum master, and your development team. So all of them will be involved in the sprint planning. And what is the main agenda of this sprint planning? All of us would ensure we collaborate to understand that what needs to be done in this sprint. So we'll be coming up with a particular common goal, that what we can achieve in this sprint. So this is the main purpose of the sprint planning. In short, I'm not going to dig in deeper about all these things because I want to implement some of the best practices which we have done in our current sprint planning. Okay, so I hope you just got a gist of it, what exactly is a sprint planning. So now what best practices we can implement it over here? This is something which we need to understand. So when I say here the best practices which I want to implement here, right? So I'll just mention it over here so that you'll be able to understand that some of the best practices which we have actually tried to use. Okay, so this one of the best practices which we followed here is always remember one thing: in this sprint planning, your development team decides what can be accomplished in this upcoming sprint or whatever sprint which you are currently been planning for your sprint planning and everything, right? It's only your development team decides that what can be accomplished. They really make a genuine attempt to identify what can be achieved as a team. I'll give you an example here. In one of our meetings, okay, in one of our meetings in a sprint planning, what happened is product owner has a lot of demand, like they want to ensure that there are a lot of priority items, a lot, which would actually be impossible because we also need to consider something called as capacity also. Okay, capacity is also one of the important aspect which I'll be talking little bit after this point is completed. I'll be explaining it, how capacity plays a vital role. Okay, so I know that as a product owner, yes, there would be a lot of priorities in order to ensure to complete within a sprint, but sometimes what happens is, in our case, if I would say, product owner ensured that there would be a rush to ensure that all the stories which are there, right, the priority stories would be completed within this sprint. Okay, so now to complete this entire part, right, it is really difficult. So because capacity is also one of the important thing, and within one sprint we just can't go and try to push. And the important point which I want to highlight here is development team is going to deliver it. So they are the best. Development team decides that what can be accomplished in this particular sprint what we're trying to plan for. So they are going to make a genuine attempt to identify what can be achieved as a team here. So product owner, so that's, as a scrum master, what would be your role? You have to ensure that you have to coach your product owner to ensure that not all the stories would be pushed within one single sprint. There are multiple sprints where we can take up some priorities and we ensure that everything would be taken appropriately. Right now, again, in priorities, we can segregate that which is highest priority, because we also need to consider capacity. We also need to consider some uncertainties which may come up, because we know agile is all about dynamic, right? At any point of time, any defect may come, any important bug may come up. Okay, or maybe something, like when we try to migrate everything, so there may be some issues. We should always we shouldn't consider 100% capacity we are trying to put in, and all of a sudden if any priority one issue or something comes in, then immediately we need to chip in. So that is what, as a scrum master, you need to ensure that you help out with your product owner, you coach your product owner, you groom your product owner to ensure that we need to ensure that this sprint planning is something like where your development team decides like what can be accomplished in this. Okay, they would be priorities, but those priorities should be segregated appropriately so that the team can utilize it very effectively and they can deliver whatever we are trying to commit in this respective sprint. That is how we have overcome this challenge, and we came up with a common point saying that always the development team decides what can be accomplished in the upcoming sprint. Product owner comes up with the priorities, like what needs to be pulled into the sprint. Discussions would be done. After the discussions are completed, once the capacity is planned, then the stories would be pulled into that respective sprint, and it would be present inside that sprint backlog. So that is how we have taken care of this particular aspect so that there wouldn't be any issues going forward. So this is how we have taken care of this particular part. Now moving on to the next important aspect here, team comes up with a sprint goal. This sprint goal which is there, right, this is a very confusing thing, especially in my team. This is a very confusing term for them. When we talk about the sprint goal, right, what they do is, very important sprint goal which they try to say is complete as much work as we can. This is a very lame sprint goal. Let us ensure that we complete at least 5 stories or 4 stories or 1 story. So that's not a sprint goal. Sprint goal is not something like where you can measure saying that okay, complete as much work as I can, completing like make progress in some other aspect. So that is not your sprint goal, right? Sprint goal should be very clearly defined. You just can't put out some random sprint goal, just you need to put a sprint goal. This happens. Maybe I don't know whether you faced it or not, but yeah, I faced it a lot of times. When we discuss about the sprint goal with the team says complete as much as we can, that is a sprint goal. Wait, what's that sprint goal? That wouldn't be a sprint goal, right? So it's sometimes I feel really, oh, this is not a sprint goal. So but yeah, I got a chance to groom them, I got a chance to coach them, and then they got to know the understanding of what is a sprint goal. But just I'm saying that this is how it looks like sometimes. So here the point what I want to say is this should be something that can be released to the user, just like a feature. For example, let me say you have a big e-commerce website. Now you can't develop that entire e-commerce website with one go. You'll break it into multiple chunks, right? A login page, a shipping page, a billing page, a cart, all these things. These are again segregated into multiple features and all, like based on the product what we're designing. So here, when we talk about a sprint goal, we should be thinking something which can be released, okay, which actually can be released to the user, just like a feature. So that, let me say, a login page, for example, we have decided that we want to design a login page for us for this particular sprint goal. So we will be focusing on that. Now I am working in a petroleum industry, okay, so which is a part of logistics. In the petroleum part, we are focusing on logistics. Now sprint goal, how we try to have is, let me say, logistics means what, like a petrol vehicle when it moves in, right? So they have a tanks. Okay, we have a tank wagon. So what happens is, when you go and try to fill that particular fuel in a particular fuel station, right? So you give some fuel over there, and then immediately you have to update that particular aspect. So for to have that functionality present, so we need to create that functionality here, right? So that is one of the feature which we want to ensure that we would commit in this particular sprint as a sprint goal. So that is how, like, something which can actually be released to the user, just like a feature. That is how we have aligned a sprint goal. Now team has understood it, and we are trying to implement the sprint goals in such a way so that team can come up with a sprint goal. Yeah, initially they were not aware of it, but as a scrum master, it is our responsibility to make a team understand very effectively, to make them coach, to make them mentor, so that they can understand what exactly is a sprint goal here. Okay, so in that way we can plan and ensure that the sprint goal would be very much helpful for them. This is how we have implemented the best practice to make the team aware, like what is the important point which we need to consider is something that can be released to the user, just like a feature. And the third important aspect here is, this is the very important thing. Okay, why I'll say velocity. Okay, I'll talk this in detail if I have some time, but yeah, velocity. Now, how many product backlog increment, like let me say from your product backlog you bring in some stories into your sprint backlog. Once the sprint planning is completed, right, sprint backlog is owned by the entire development team and they take care of that part. Okay, here the important point is how many stories can I take? This is one of the questions. Now let me say how many stories can I take from when we say in the sprint planning. So yeah, velocity gives you one idea. Let me say some what is the average velocity for your team for your last 6 iterations or 8 iterations. What is the average velocity? You can also stick to that, seeing that how much is your average velocity. For example, average velocity is 20 story points, just for an example. Maybe you can commit some 20 story points because from the last 8 iterations you're observing that you're always committing somewhere within 20 because it is an average one. So you can take this as a measure in order to ensure that your team can take this and they can commit for it. But this velocity is being used in a different way actually. It is not a measure of any team velocity when we say, right, it is not a measure of any productivity. It's a tool to forecast more accurately. It is just for a tool to forecasting it. It is not a measure of productivity. Now when we say velocity, right, team gets frightened. Oh, our velocity is very less, our velocity is very high. It doesn't matter. As long as you're committing to your sprint goal and you're trying to complete whatever you're trying to commit as your sprint goal, as long as you're delivering the quality software, as long as you're trying to satisfy your customer, I don't think so velocity is going to hamper you. Velocity is not any tool to, like, let me say, it is just a tool to forecast more accurately. Okay, it is not a tool for any productivity. People, many team members, they get confused here. Okay, velocity means when we see even the higher management, if there is anyone in the team in the your organization, they ask velocity, and you should give them the idea. You should coach them that velocity is not something which says about the team's productivity. In, see, for example, my team's velocity is 20, other team's velocity is 40. People try to compare these two teams, that their velocity is more 40 and the other team's velocity is 20. We should never compare like that. We should never compare any team's velocity. Every team is unique and they try to deliver their own softwares in the best way, in a best quality way. Okay, so you should never consider this aspect actually. So this is also one of the important point I want to highlight here. Velocity is not a measure of productivity, but it's a tool to forecast more accurately. Never try to compare velocities with any teams, and you should ensure that velocity is just to forecast amount of effort or work the team can take, but not a measure of any productivity where you need to bring in and say that our velocity. We need higher management on your senior leadership team and as well as to your team and as well as to other teams if they are very much interested in velocity and all. Next is capacity. As I said, this is very, very important. The very first thing what I do when I start my sprint planning is I first take the capacity. Are there any planned leaves? Are there any events being present, like any, for example, a Diwali or a Dashara or if any other like Christmas, if you see. Okay, so this is the important point which actually comes up over here. So now the point here is, one of the challenging thing here is, for example, we're delivering one of the important product. At that particular aspect, what happened is this capacity which is there, right, we didn't have enough team resources, but we want to ensure that it would be delivered. So in that case, what we need to do, okay, we have hardly like 2-3 developers and we want to ensure that one of the important feature would be released. So if we commit, we have to put in extra hours. Okay, so but as a scrum master, we would be able to observe all these situations when we try to plan the capacity planning, and the same has been informed to the product owner, and the product owner went ahead and said the same to the product management team. And then based on all the observations, what we ensured is that that particular feature can be moved to the next sprint in order to make sure that once the team is available, then we can go ahead and try to do it. But as a scrum master, you should ensure that all the required information what the team is facing would actually be going to the right direction. So as we know that there is no capacity, as we know that the team can't go ahead and try to put in extra hours, and we don't want to do even that. So we have to be very careful with this capacity planning in order to get rid of some of the false commitments. So in that way, everyone would be aware with the product owner when we try to inform, so that product owner would be very much aware that yes, this type of situation is present right now, and we need to ensure that we require some more time to ensure that this product would be done. Okay, so this is the very, very important thing which we need to consider here. So this is the one of the challenges which I actually faced, but I informed, I went to the right direction and I made transparency. Okay, transparency is in the picture, and they have inspected it, everything, that whether all the things are right or not in terms of capacity, and the right action was taken, that it was actually one more sprint was being given to us and we delivered it appropriately. So passing the information, communication is very important. If that is not there, then definitely no one would get to know what is exactly happening, and finally on one fine day we will get to know that we are out. Like we would have first of all identified this point, but we never identified it. So as a scrum master, you should be very much proactive, and you should be very transparent, and you need to communicate appropriately to the appropriate members so that we would be getting the right approach. In that way, capacity also plays a very vital role. Sprint goal, I have coached the team in order to ensure that they would come up with a proper sprint goal rather than just coming up with some goals like complete as much as we can. Not like that. Okay, we should always go with something called as which can be released to the user just like a feature. Velocity is always a forecasting tool, but it is not a measure of productivity. So these are some of the things. This is a challenge. When I came to team, right, they were actually focusing about velocity a lot, but velocity is not something which you need to focus. Okay, velocity is something just a measure of your whatever you are trying to do. That's your forecast as a team. It's not your measure of productivity. That's how I ensured that they get to know what is velocity. They have coached and I mentored them. The sprint goal totally got changed, right? And right now proper amount of sprint goals are coming up now. For example, building the tank wagon, which can be useful for the customers, like some good sprint goals are coming up. And then in terms of capacity also, we are not having any uncertainties. Uncertainty will always be there, but you have to ensure that how much you can limit those uncertainties. Even today also, we don't know at what point a defect or a bug will come when we merge our code, but still we try to ensure that there would be a very minimal uncertainties present. So this is how sprint planning plays a very vital role, and we have implemented a best practices like whatever I have discussed right now in our sprint planning part. Okay, so moving on to the next important aspect. Okay, I'll be just little bit quicker because we have a very limited time. And so moving on to the daily stand up over here. Okay, in this daily stand up also, generally what happens here is sometimes when we invite someone like engineering managers or maybe someone who is technically sound like an architect or someone, so then we have to ensure here that like when we invite, okay, so daily stand up is, we know that it's time boxed for only 15 minutes. It's not more than that. You shouldn't take exceeded more than that. Then we should make sure that it should be within 15 minutes. What is the time box event it is? So this meeting is for only for scrum team. If you as a scrum master or a scrum team member, right, if you are inviting any other member, you need to ensure that they do not interfere in this meeting, including the team managers or any managers who come up or any consulting members they come up. Okay, so if they want to enter and if they want to have a look, yeah, you can, but please ensure that they will only be sticking to that. But it's basically this daily stand up is for the scrum team. Okay, so what they are going to do here is they are going to give the updates like what did they do yesterday, what are they going to do today, are there any roadblocks or impediments. The challenge here is when I went, daily stand up used to be for 30 minutes. They used to discuss challenges, they used to discuss what is the approach, whom do we need to approach, what we need to do. Everything was discussed in the daily stand up only before I entered into the organization. So once I went in, I ensured that those 30 minutes would be confined only to within 15 minutes, and even if it is less than that also. So only talk which is really important. And if there are any parking lots, let's go and try to have a separate call and try to retrospect like what should be the immediate action and what we have to do related to it. So that is how we ensured that the like as a daily stand up would be done in a more effective way. Okay, so this is how that even team got benefited. And if any external member joins, you have to ensure as a scrum master that no elaborate discussions would be done, no arguments, nothing. Everything would be done in a way how it is been done on every day, like what has done yesterday, what has been done today, or like what we are going to do today. Are there any roadblocks or impediments which we need to discuss? Just a small part. Later we can go and try to discuss that in detail in other meetings and see what best approach which we can follow in order to ensure the team can get benefit out of it. Okay, and again, so remember one thing, if any team member comes late, you don't need to wait. You don't need to wait until the team member joins. Okay, so you need to go and try to start because it is only 15 minutes, and as and when the team member joins, you can get the update. Otherwise, it will become a habit for the team member that they will think, okay, anyhow, the scrum master is going to wait until I join. So never give that scope. So you can just ensure that your team can go ahead and try to start. First of all, this meeting is totally handled by the entire scrum team. Okay, the team is going to development team takes care of this entire daily stand up. They do all those updates and everything, and it is only for them to know like where we are standing as of now, or as of today, if I would say. Okay, so daily scrum, it gives the best results if it is done somewhere, if I would say, we do at the start of the day, but it all depends on team to team. It varies, but I would just prefer that at the start of the day, if we know what we are trying to do, it will be better. But sometimes we know that like we work for a US client or a European client, we start our day early morning, like maybe say based on whatever shift we are in, so sometimes it may also get delayed. So this type of situations may arise, but yeah, generally we prefer evening times, so that it would be easier for us. At least we would be synchronization with US, or sometimes if every team belongs to India, so same time at morning will start, or Slovakia afternoon time. So it all depends upon what all regions our team is been spread. Okay, so this is how we ensured that our entire daily stand up would be done very effectively, and we don't ensure that nobody if nobody like let me say, if somebody comes and tries to do something, right, we will not be allowing it. So it will be done for 15 minutes, and it would be done in a very effective way. What we are going to do today, what we have done like yesterday, and as well as any impediments or roadblocks, that's it. Nothing would be done apart from that. If there are something which we need to discuss, that will be done later, but not right now. So this is how we have ensured that our daily stand up has been used effectively for us. And sprint review and sprint retrospective. Okay, I'll just club it up over here. I know that it would have been dealt a little bit separately, but yeah, as we have a very limited time, so I would just complete it off. So review and retrospective. Okay, so what are the best practices which we have implemented here, which has actually become helpful for us? So moving on to the review, right? Review is something like the development team owns the demo, and they take pride in showcasing what has been done so far. Okay, so answer to any questions on the increment and feedback, any improvements, everything would be done in the sprint review. Stakeholders would also come and they try to join. Product owner invites the stakeholders would try to come and see what has been done related to the product, and what if there are any challenges or if there are any feedbacks, everything would be discussed over here, and it would be given a proper demo, and some sort of reviews and everything would be done. And if there is any feedback or something, the product owner will create the user story, and that will be taken care in the upcoming sprints based on the priority. That is how we deal the sprint review and everything. So sometimes there would be some challenges here, like for example, for like let me say, when we try to show the demo, so sometimes some of the integrations or some of the things, if it doesn't work, it will really be bad in front of stakeholders, right? So better we try to ensure that before the review, I create a small agenda to them. I give them some idea saying that this is how we are going to present, so that at least they would be ready with everything. It shouldn't be a sudden surprise for them saying that, hey, we are going to have a review. Beforehand, everything we should be having an agenda appropriate. We should inform our team members that this is how the plan is going to be, so that they would be ready with the demos and they can show whatever they have created in the form of a feature to the stakeholders or to any of the product management team if they join. So that would be very easier, and it will be helpful for the team to go ahead and try to show the demo whatever they have actually designed it. Remember, this is not a status meeting. Sprint review is actually not a status meeting. Many of us would believe that this is a status meeting which we are giving to our stakeholders. It's not like that. It is entirely a demo which you are going to show that whatever you have designed, or as a team we have designed, everything would be actually shown here in the sprint review. Okay, and the retrospective is another important aspect which I want to target here. Retrospective is very important. Retrospective is important for you to understand as a team that how you are actually trying to do the things in every sprint. Here the challenge is in the retrospective, right? When we try to come, many people will not open up. They will not try to open up because everyone is not the same, right? Every individual will have their own set of mindsets. Now in this retrospective, generally what happens is, like what I did is, like when I became a scrum master, I used the mural board. Okay, so I used the mural board and I ensured that retrospective would be done with the help of mural board. Why mural board is, in the retrospective, when they when they unmute their mics and when they say their problems, sometimes they feel that they want to that they don't want to showcase their name. So mural board is something like where everything is anonymous. I say them, just go anonymous, try to put up whatever you all really feel that you all think that what has not been done well or what went well in the existing sprint, and some of the action items. This is extremely important. Action items. Okay, what has been done well, yeah, that is fine. What has not been well, okay, yeah, we also need to discuss about it. But what is an action item? If there is no action items and if you're not in a position to implement that in the next sprint, then team will lose the focus towards the retrospective. They will not even think to join this meeting, because when we are joining, let me say, when we are implementing the things in reality, then team will really be happy, okay, that everything is going good, and with this retrospective we are getting some fruitful result for every sprint. Let's make this retrospective more effective. So as a scrum master, we need to ensure that all the action items have been taken over. We need to discuss as a team like what should be done in a better way, so that from the next sprint onwards all these issues wouldn't arise. In that way, actually everything would be helpful for us, and going forward team will also be benefited. And as the sprint retrospective keeps on going, right, so we will be implementing many best practices. So all these best practices which I'm trying to talk right now, right, so all these were discussed in our retrospective. Okay, we have discussed multiple challenges, like sometimes somebody comes and tries to merge the code which already our team members have done. So we have segregated the project separately right now, so that no other team members would try to come the merge their code, and the other changes which we have done, it is been distorted totally. Again, we need to put an extra efforts to merge that code manually and check where the error has come. So these type of issues. Okay, and even in the retrospective we'll get to know some hardware issues, like we need to improve the performance of the servers, we need to improve the performance of the database, we need to come up with some automated testing, so the testing will become very easier rather than manual testing. So many challenges. If you give the scope to the team to ensure that they would talk very happily and very effectively, then the retrospective will become very effective. And retrospective is one of the very, very important scrum ceremony or event which can actually benefit our team members going down the line as the number of iterations increases, right? So that would be very, very helpful for us. Okay, so with this note, I hope that you got a very good idea related to all the important scrum ceremonies and events, and what are the best practices which we have tried to implement. Okay, so with this note, I hope that you have got a very good points and everything. Okay, just improving, yeah. Exactly, yeah, absolutely right. So there is nothing exactly. So this is all is a learning. That's absolutely right. All this is a learning. Like this is a continuously will improve. That's what inspection empirical process control it is, right? Continuously we keep on increasing. So like for example, today when I say this is something best, tomorrow something other thing may come up. That is absolutely right, what is being mentioned. Today it is right, tomorrow it may be something else. Okay, so with this note, I just complete my presentation. So I hope every one of you have got a good outcome of it, and ensure that whenever you get some time, have some one-on-one with your team members to get to know more about them and have some idea, so that at least they will also feel very happy that we are interacting with them. So that's what I do, which will also be one of the best practices, and they can be a little bit free to talk to scrum masters. Okay, so thanks everyone for listening to me patiently, and sorry for being a little bit delay with whatever I've presented, but I want to complete everything so that everyone would be benefited out of it. Thanks Agile Network India, and thanks to Navina. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Prashant. I think it was an informative session, and end of the day, few teams they tend to make everything as a status meeting. So that is where we as a team make difference. Scrum team make difference. Thank you so much. I think all of our participants had a lot of insights onto this. Thank you so
Definitely,
much,
Navina.
Prashant. Appreciate your time.